So now I want to talk about custom property overwrite rules and protecting important data in your system before you enrich with Clay. This is, I think, one of the biggest areas where Clay's native integration falls short, and it's one of the most important things to get right if you don't want to mess up your HubSpot CRM. So for anything beyond a basic, like, you know, a basic HubSpot cleanup, I think this is a pretty important step. And it's something that we had to build manually. First, we scoped it out and designed this rules engine in a Google Sheet. Now our product and Sculpted, our custom integration with Clay and HubSpot, has a rules engine like this built in, but it gets pretty granular. And I want to speak out the situation here. So let me just back up from the Google Sheet for a second here and sort of speak out the business problem we're solving. Let's say you have salespeople that are talking to customers on the phone, right? And you know that your salespeople are getting their cell phone numbers directly from the customer and inputting those cell phone numbers on a contact in HubSpot. So that phone number is basically guaranteed to be correct. Getting getting a phone number directly from your customer, right, is probably the best way to get a phone number. It's better than Minifo, it's better than anything else. And you don't want to overwrite that with Clay data, right? I know Clay's awesome, but their integrations and their enrichments are not as good as a phone number directly from your customer that you know works. So that's an area where you wouldn't want to overwrite it. Another example for a different customer that we had, they have an in-app like login flow, and they use Pendo for product data, and customers give them personal information via Pendo in the app. So if the last enrichment source or the last updated source on that property in HubSpot was Pendo, then we don't want to overwrite that. But you can't have that level of granularity with Clay without setting up a custom rules engine. Another thing is sort of like ongoing re-enrichment, which is kind of a different topic. So actually I'm going to leave that be for now. Right now, we're just looking at like even the first time, one-time enrichment. For example, for the contact email address, phone number, we said we only want to overwrite if it was last updated by a human over 9 months ago. If it was updated by anything else, we would overwrite it. But this means that if the phone number was last updated within 9 months by a person, by a salesperson or something, then do not overwrite. That's a really good example. Another one is email address, personal. We would enrich that no matter what. But the business address, once again, only if it was last enriched by a person within 9 months, then we would not overwrite it. So defining these custom rule sets is really important. And we even broke it down by life cycle stage, whether they're a customer, they're an open opportunity, or in like an opportunity stage of some sort, or everybody else, basically the remainder. You probably want to be more careful with your customers and perhaps even your opportunities than you would with remainder, because these two groups, you've already spoken to them, you know them, and therefore you would want to treat them differently than this group, right? You're going to probably have more information about your customers because you've spoken to them before, and therefore you want to be more careful about overwriting that data. But the remainder, most of your remainder records probably have very light enrichment, and some of it's probably wrong, especially if you've been using legacy vendors in the past. So for the remainder data set, which is the majority of your CRM, you actually can be pretty loose with your enrichment rules. So this would mean like for things like enriching your total addressable market, giving accounts to your sales team or marketing team, you can be much more loose with your enrichments. But for customers and opportunities, when you're doing an ICP enrichment, there's plenty of information you don't have that you would like to have, but there's also a lot of information you do have that you want to protect. And you can't really do this on a granular level in Clay right now. So we built this custom solution to do it for you. Once again, we have a more robust version of this in our product now that integrates Clay and HubSpot. But if you want to do a basic version, you can swipe this Google Sheet template and like scope it out yourself. I don't think you'll be able to actually implement it though without writing custom code unless you use our app. But sorry, I know this sounds like a plug for Sculpted, which it kind of is, but the reality is that we're the only option right now that I know of. So if you have a better one, you can go for it. But I don't think there's another one out there yet. I'm sure more will pop up in the market at some point if this is a real problem worth solving, which I think it is. But for now, we can help if you're interested, or you can have your engineers write this code on their own and do it quick and dirty. It'll get the job done, but it may not be so sustainable. But yeah, if you're lacking internal resources, dev resources, and you want to knock this out, then Sculpt is probably the way to go. But hope this is a good high level overview of what overwrite rules are all about and why they're important and how you can tackle them. And yeah, if you want help, let me know. Reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, or you can comment on the video, or or something like that. And we'll be in touch.